Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a brand new monthly ranking here at Max Talks Movies. We're here going to rank all 8 new releases that I saw in the month of June 2022. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, a box office breakdown show every single Monday, as well as movie rankings like this every single month. As well, please comment down below. Let me know what movies did you see in the month of June. I did not get to see every single thing. So let me know, what did you see? Is my ranking different from yours? Is my bottom couple, are they on your top? Are my movies that are on the top on the bottom? Let's have a fun discussion in the comment section down below. And please like the video, guys. That helps the algorithm out. So before I get my ranking, I do want to say first that I have done 8 separate videos of all 8 of these movies. So if you want a full breakdown of what I thought about the films, I'll leave a playlist at the end of this video that you can click on right next to my head. You can be able to watch a playlist of all the movies I've seen, not just in this month, but also the whole year itself. So let's get into the list. We have 8 movies to get through. Let's do it. So starting at number 8 is a Netflix original film, which is Interceptor, which is also my least favorite movie of not just June, but of the entire year. Elsa Pataki, who is Chris Hemsworth's wife, I've seen her in the Fast and Furious films, kind of an action film, also with Luke Bracey. This is one of the most confusing and probably the worst screenplay that I've probably seen all year long. And I feel because I am a fan of Elsa Pataki and Luke Bracey, really. I think they're both really excellent, depending on the project. And Elsa Pataki is a certified badass, and I want to see her in more action films. But this film is really confusing because at times it wants to be this serious, enclosed thriller, and then it wants to be a action film, and then it has like 80s cheesy on-the-nose dialogue. And it's just a bit of a train wreck, really, from start to finish. None of the action scenes are that memorable. I can't remember even the plot that distinctively. There are characters that say things on the nose, so much on the nose that you know what's going to happen next for that character. It's a predictable film. And it's also just, again, logic is kind of thrown out the window. Characters make dumb choices. If they don't make the dumb choices, we don't have a movie. So for me, Interceptor for me was easily at number 8. Coming in number 7 is the most recent film I saw in the month of June, another Netflix film, The Man from Toronto, starring Kevin Hart and Woody Harrelson, where Kevin Hart plays this, he's jobless, man from New York, taking his wife to a cabin. And this then leads to him running into the world's greatest assassin, the man from Toronto, played by Woody Harrelson, and they have to work together to get through this plan. While I really loved Woody Harrelson in this movie, it was very much a different type of Woody Harrelson performance. The first half of the movie is very different, then he kind of goes into Woody Harrelson performance. Some of the action scenes are actually kind of fun, especially the ones towards the end, and also just the general cast. It's a very easy film to watch. I was never hate watching this film, but I was looking at see that this is just not a good movie, really, from start to finish. Kevin Hart feels like he's plucked out of any type of film we've seen Kevin Hart in. His jokes feel really forced into the movie. They don't come off as natural whatsoever. I found myself just chuckling maybe 1 or 2 times during the movie. There's some really bad CGI special effects work, including a plane sequence that looks straight out of a 1990s bad CGI film. Just did not come off well to me. So while I do enjoy the cast, and there's one action scene that I kind of liked, this is a pretty mediocre script that's pretty predictable from start to finish. Some bad CGI, and just not a funny movie to me. So that's not number 7. Number 6 is Jurassic World Dominion, the supposed last film of the Jurassic franchise, bringing together both the original cast of Sam Neill, Laura Dern, and Jeff Goldblum, and the new cast with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. Again, I did not hate watching this film. I actually preferred this film over the previous Jurassic World film. But again, that's not really saying a lot. This is just not a good movie. And I think even if you have fun with it at times, I do have fun with this movie, especially with seeing these cast members on screen. I think Laura Dern was definitely the strongest probably character of the entire film. Jeff Goldblum, who isn't in the film as much as he probably should, is a fun addition. The CGI is actually pretty good, especially with the raptors, and there's some really fun action sequences here. But while that's the case, no real character has an arc. And after the reason why this movie comes off so disappointing is at the end of really this whole Jurassic World, supposed to be a franchise about how dinosaurs and humans coexist. And that is we thought we were going to get at the end of the last film, heading into this film. And it's touched on, but it's basically the same usual Jurassic Park villain. We're on a reclusive science place. We have a science villain who's trying to kidnap not just a Blue's own kid, but also Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard's adopted kid, who was a clone from the previous film. And I just didn't care at all about the cloning. They're trying to really connect that cloning to what the dinosaurs are going through. Didn't really like that. Even though I'm a huge Chris Pratt fan, his character has really gone downhill from the first film. It feels really forced with the OG cast coming in. Sam Neill's character doesn't really fit into this movie whatsoever. Again, the villains are laughably bad from like a 70s or 80s film, so on the nose and cheesy. And again, the logic is so far gone. And in this type of movie, we just want to have dumb fun, but there's some things that you're like, this just wouldn't be happening. And it happens multiple times. And the movie is 2.5 hours, the longest film in the entire franchise, and you can feel it. So Jurassic World Dominion at number 6. Coming at number 5 is another Netflix film, Spiderhead, which I was actually very excited for. This comes from the director, Joseph Kosinski, who just came off directing Top Gun Maverick, starring Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, and Jurnee Smollett. A very disappointing film. Now, it's not a bad film whatsoever, but the concept of this film is genius, as Hemsworth plays this kind of this science genius who's trying to work on these drugs, basically kind of control people into falling in love with each other or just coexisting in society, not with violence and things like that. And that's where Miles Teller comes in. He's a test subject who's kind of questioning what's going on this island. And that's where he kind of falls in love as well with Jurnee Smollett's character. The actual concept makes this a very watchable film. The first half of this movie, I was like, this is actually a really cool idea. It's fun seeing Chris Hemsworth in kind of an antagonist role. He's usually playing that fun comedy, likable good guy, but he kind of brings that charisma to a villain role, which if you're a big fan of his and want to see him do something different, definitely check out this film. Miles Teller, Jurnee Smollett, they're all very good in this film. But the actual, once you get into the last 45 minutes of the movie, it really doesn't make total sense. As I said, Chris Hemsworth's character makes tons of dumb decisions that if he was this smart of a dude running this whole thing, he wouldn't be making these decisions. It feels like they should have spent more time with Miles Teller and Jurnee Smollett's character, because they kind of have a romance and it just feels kind of rushed at the last second. And it kind of turns into a bad, and the action is not very good because it just shouldn't be an action film. There's kind of like a little bit of some action in the third act of the movie, and just feels so out of place for what the first 2 acts were. So while the concept is good and the cast is fantastic, for me, the actual story, the screenplay, there were too many dumb decisions to keep this movie going, and that kind of held it back for me. Now let's go to my top 4. Number 4 is Lightyear. Now, I am a mega Toy Story fan, and this is by far away my least favorite film in the Toy Story franchise. But I still had a good time in the theater. I thought that this is actually a pretty good movie. I think a lot of people, obviously, has been doing awful at the box office for Pixar purposes. It seems like overwhelming. No one's really talking about this movie that much, but I did have a good time. Chris Evans did a very good job in the Buzz Lightyear role. Socks kind of stole the entire movie, and Keke Palmer and Ozo Aduba also did a great job with their voice talents. This is also one of the more gorgeous animated movies you'll ever see. I saw it in IMAX, gorgeous. And I kind of like that this had kind of nothing to do with the Toy Story franchise. It's about the movie that Andy saw. So it's kind of cool to see a Pixar kind of doing a sci-fi, straight up sci-fi film. And that was very cool to see. I did think that the Zurg villain really let me down in this movie. And I normally in these type of Pixar films, I feel a lot more emotionally invested, and I just didn't really feel that oomph during the movie. So I like the movie, but I definitely don't love the movie. And I don't think it's anywhere close to top tier Pixar. Number 3, let's get into these next 3 movies, by the way, are in my top 10 of the year so far. Number 3 is Hustle on Netflix. This is a really good movie. Adam Sandler plays a talent scout for the Philadelphia 76ers, and then he finds this basketball player in the middle of nowhere. He's not supposed to be scouted, and tries to bring him to the NBA. Most of this movie takes place in Philadelphia, where I'm from. I'm currently go to college. I go to Temple, and Adam Sandler's character played for Temple. There's a lot of bias, obviously, involved, but this is also a really great basketball sports film that, yes, has some of those sports cliches into the mix, but because of an excellent Adam Sandler performance, one of his best performances, this Uncut Gems, his recent performances as of late in the last 5 years, proven that, yes, there's definitely Adam Sandler comedy, but his dramatic work is what really stands out in this film. Juancho Hernan-Gomez is a real NBA player. They have great chemistry together. As a huge NBA fan, there's a lot of NBA references, a lot of Philadelphia references that kind of keep me through it. And actually seeing a pro basketball player do these basketball skills during the movie, it just comes off as more real than an actor kind of pulling these scenes off. And I'm sure actors can do it, but it comes off more authentic with a real NBA player doing these skills. And you're definitely rooting not just for Sandler's character for this to happen, but the basketball player, Bo Cruz himself. So a really great sports film. I really enjoyed it. One of the most pleasant surprises I've seen on Netflix in a long time. At number 2, 1 second. So number 2 is The Black Phone, which just released last week from Blumhouse and Scott Derrick, who directed Sinister and Doctor Strange. Ethan Hawke playing this killer called the Grabber, but really it's Mason Thames, Madeline McGraw kind of carrying you through this movie. This is my favorite horror movie of the year thus far. While yes, it's a horror film, I kind of love the idea that this movie is kind of a psychological thriller. Kids are being taken by the Grabber, who's played by Ethan Hawke. And the first 25 minutes do a great job introducing you to the kids, caring about the family dynamic between the brother and the sister. Trying to understand where the father is coming from. And then once Mason Thames' character is taken by the Grabber, this movie becomes really patient, really smart, and they don't just give you details to say, hey, this is predictable, this is how it's going to help us escape. The movie takes its time and saying, oh, this might not work, this might work. The idea of our main character being able to use that phone call to call past victims is a great idea. And Ethan Hawke is straight up terrifying in this movie as the Grabber. He brings a usual Ethan Hawke charisma to a pretty sick, hilarious, over-the-top performance that you usually just don't see from Ethan Hawke. And it was terrifying. Every time he was on screen, the movie feels completely different. And this is one of the best new horror villains in a really long time, but I was really gripped from start to finish. It's an efficient 1 hour 40. It's a thrilling, you're on the edge of your seat, and you care about the characters. These people feel like real people, and these are smart decisions. The villain is not a moron dropping things for characters to grab. The way that he kind of manipulates Mason Thames' character was really interesting. But guys, coming in number 1, not just for June, but for the whole year so far, is Cha Cha Real Smooth. I adore this movie, really from start to finish. This movie was even better than Coda. I know a lot of people are comparing it to because Apple bought this at Sundance. Again, this was the biggest Sundance purchase from this year, $15 million to Apple TV Plus, just like Coda was in 2021. I like this a little more. I was so emotionally invested. It's a different type of romantic comedy, produced, written, directed, starring Cooper Raiff, produced and starring Dakota Johnson. Dakota Johnson gives the best female performance of the entire year. And this movie just comes down to so I just talked about real people in The Black Phone. Everyone in this film feels authentic, like real people. It's a funny movie. It's a heartbreaking movie. It's a heartwarming movie. It's a satisfying movie. And it feels with real people. It's about Andrew, he works as a bar mitzvah party host, but then he strikes up a friendship with a mother played by Dakota Johnson and her autistic daughter played by Vanessa Burkhart. Leslie Mann gives in one of her best performances in years as Cooper Raiff's mom. And there's so many great subplots. There's Andrew and his brother, who's played by Evan Asante. There's Andrew and his mom, played by Leslie Mann. And then you have that Andrew and obviously Lola relationship, with Dakota Johnson's daughter. They have great chemistry, and you really feel why he's been such a great addition to their lives. And of course, what the movie really comes down to is Domino and Andrew. Domino is one of the most fascinating characters I've seen in this type of film in years. And Dakota Johnson has become quickly one of my definitely my top 5 right now favorite actresses working today. She's absolutely fantastic in the movie. Her and Cooper Raiff are mesmerizing together. And you understand, and there's also a lot of great messages out there about how you have soulmates and when to take the next step, and when not to be scared, and why it's also a good thing to feel scared. I think there's all these real life lessons I think anyone at any age could really take from or even relate to. And Cooper Raiff is a masterful now director, writer, and now lead actor. Really happy for Dakota Johnson as well. What a great, positive, uplifting movie, done really well. I know probably might not make it to Oscar season, but I'm going to keep pushing, raising the flag of Cha Cha Real Smooth all the way until March. So that is my ranking of the June movies that I saw this month. Interceptor number 8, Man from Toronto number 7, Jurassic World Dominion at number 6, Spiderhead is at number 5, Lightyear at 4, Hustle 3, Black Phone 2, and Cha Cha Real Smooth at number 1. Thanks for joining my ranking. Please subscribe, ring the bell, comment, like the video. Tomorrow, review of Minions, The Rise of Gru, as well as should be Saturday or Sunday, a review of Stranger Things Season 4, Volume 2, spoiler review. Monday, you'll get my box office breakdown. I'm also going to try to binge watch Only Murders to do Season 2 review. A lot, and Thor, Love and Thunder next week. So tons and tons of reviews. I'll see you guys soon.